Welcome back, guys. Let's talk about Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. And again, this is a first viewing for this particular one after the first film. I haven't seen any of the sequels to the Hellraiser film, so this is, again, a first watch. And honestly, I keep hearing people say that these sequels are terrible, but the second one I thought was alright. And this one, again, I thought the same, honestly. I thought this was just okay, and it wasn't anything close to the first one. I feel it might be a tad underneath the second one, but it's still pretty average, alright. Like, it's not anger-inducing, it's just pretty middle-of-the-road sequel. There's one thing I can give it that I think is really not good, is the acting's really bad, and I think that some of the scary moments are really silly. Like, it's unintentionally really silly in a lot of moments. Like, for example, at the beginning, this Joey character, the new character, this reporter, finds this person had the box from the last movie, and then he's taken away, like, by an ambulance, but, like, they're taking him away on a gurney right past her, and then, like, the cube becomes alive, so, like, he gets chained, like, really quick in his face, just like how Frank did in the first one. He gets chained in his face, but it's like fast motion where, like, his head is just bobbing around and then it just explodes. And it's really silly. And whenever Pinhead comes to that bar in the movie where he slaughters everybody in that bar, that was really, really silly and really, like, outrageous. I actually laughed at a couple moments. Like, for example, there's a woman who is drinking there while panic ensues, and, like, this water, something comes out of the water, and it's Pinhead's face just floating there, and then he becomes an ice spike and goes into this girl's mouth, and she just falls over with a big piece of ice in her mouth. It's really silly, and it cracked me up a lot, but I guess that should count for something, because it's not boring. Like, this movie wasn't uninteresting. It just was unintentionally really silly, and the acting is pretty bad, but I thought that made it more enjoyable to watch. So, like, it's not, like, the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, it's totally an average sequel. Like, it's got bad things about it. It's got cool things about it. The imagery, I think, is cool. I think how the movie looks is cool. I think it looks totally fine. I think the story is average, but it's totally fine. So, I guess you could say that I feel really mixed on this one, like the last one, where it's like the acting's bad and it's really silly, but it's got some it's cool how it looks, and I like the story. It's all right. So it's just both of those two things together make it mixed for me, where it's just like, this is just an all right sequel. Like I said, it's really silly in the opening whenever the guy gets hooked in the face while he's on the gurney, and, like, his head just explodes, but it's super quick and makes it unintentionally really silly. And then, of course, this guy's blood goes into the statue where Pinhead is, and Pinhead comes to life again, and this reporter Joey tries to find hints to what's going on, and she looks like Brooke Shields. Like, I was looking at her like, that looks just like Brooke Shields. Like, in a lot of instances, I was like, this can't be Brooke Shields. She's not in this movie. I know she wouldn't have done this, but man, that's funny that it looked just like her. And the thing is weird about this character, too, the Joey character, the reporter, is that she keeps having these dreams of Vietnam and how her father died in Vietnam. But in the end, I don't remember it resolving at all. It's just like, actually, I think it resolves because human Pinhead was there in that moment, but it didn't seem like how it was structured it worked right. It was just kind of odd, but again, I did like how this movie did show more of Pinhead's past and elaborate on him, and I like the fact that human Pinhead and regular Pinhead are, like, at the end they fight and meld together. So I like that it did have a thing with Pinhead again, where human Pinhead is just, like, you see his past more. I think that was cool. And, like, it was really weird at the ending, because they both fight each other, the regular Pinhead and the human Pinhead, and they both meld together, and it's a weird effect where, like, they put their heads together and they just start twisting around, like, their heads, and it's really odd. So it really was a strange way to end it, and then at the ending, too, Joey goes and drops the cube into cement. So then it does a flash forward thing where like this building, that's where the cement was, has the designs of the box like all over this building, all over this giant building. Which, and it made the horror music, so it's like, does that mean that this box has become this building, and this building is where all these Cenobites and creatures will come from? I guess I haven't seen the next one, so I'm assuming that's how it'll work. Like, this new building will be like the opening place for the demons to come out. And again, it was just odd. Like, it was a weird, odd ending. I thought it was kind of like, okay, that's strange. And I thought it was funny that whenever the credits started, it said special appearance by, forgot her name, but who plays Kirsty Cotton, or Kirsty. She's in this movie for like one scene in a camera footage scene, and she's literally not like she's in that scene and that's it. And I thought that was such a weird thing to have her just gone from the movie. I mean, I guess it was better than to have her just killed off like horror movies do, and maybe she gets killed off later in this franchise. Maybe she comes back. I don't know. But I'll see for myself whenever I watch the other sequels. But it's just so weird that she's just in this for like 10 seconds, and then like it's pointless. It makes sense to how Joey's trying to figure out about what's going on, but like it just was kind of a pointless thing to bring her back. Like, why did I mean, I like her. I think she's awesome in the first two movies. The girl who plays Kirsty. But in this one, it's just like, why is she there? Like, for 10 seconds, and she doesn't even say much that is very exposition. It's just to show that this girl went through this, and the new character, Joey, is dealing with it. Which Joey is not the equivalent of Kirsty. I like Kirsty more, of course, but Joey's totally okay, but she's not as good as Kirsty was. And her acting isn't that good, and the acting in this is not very good at all, like in any of the performances. Even Doug Bradley in this one is really outrageous, like how he, whenever JP, that character who brings Pinhead back to life, like JP brings a girl home, and then like Pinhead kills her by pulling chains to the statue, and all he does is scream at her while he's killing her, Pinhead, and it's really silly. So again, this movie is very unintentionally silly, what with Pinhead being over the top, and with that bar scene where like all these people are killed in dumb, silly ways, and then at the beginning where the guy is chained on the gurney, and then like it's so fast and his head just explodes without you even seeing what happens. It makes it so unintentionally silly. So, but that made it interesting though. It made it interesting than this being a really boring sit. So I didn't mind this. It has a lot of bad things about it. It's got some cool things about it, but it's definitely nowhere near the first one, and I didn't think the second one was either. So overall, this one was just average sequel with a lot of problems and a couple of good things.